Hey, what's up everybody? ESAM here bringing you another video. This one going to be part 2 of my matchup chart for Samus. So last time I got all the way to Duck Hunt, and so right now I'm going to be continuing through Falco to Link and maybe get 1 or 2 of the 5/5s going. So first, obviously, I want to talk about Falco. So Falco I actually have a little bit of matchup experience against, and from what I've noticed about Falco in general is the fact that he thrives off of getting his one opening and getting a lot of damage and keeping his opponents in disadvantage. But he's kind of slow on the ground in order to do that, so he has to use his jumps in order to like get up there and pressure people. But the thing is, Samus and Falco's damage output is relatively similar, but Samus's is easier and more consistent and gets Falco off the edge potentially if you go for the Nair instead of the extra up air up B. Falco can't, it's really hard for Falco to space around dash attack just because, it's really fast burst option, and Falco obviously wants to get in because Samus's zoning is superior to Falco's. Like, Zair is way better than lasers, and so Falco is going to be the one approaching, and so you don't really want to be like, run shield, run shield, run shield versus Samus, because then you can get dash grabbed and get put in disadvantage, and Falco is actually really bad at getting back on stage. The main reason I put this at 55-45, because they both do stuff to each other, is one, the fact that Falco is has a little bit more trouble, I feel like, comboing Samus than vice versa. Falco's recovery is a little bit worse, and Samus is heavier. Although Falco's kill potential is ridiculous, Samus's is a little easier to land for the most part, because for Falco, you're going to really want to be landing like up smash, trying to get someone off the ledge, forward smash, air dodge read, or back air. Like, back air is huge for that. But whereas Samus can have charge shot, which obviously reflectors are scary, but then you can start baiting them. So you have charge shot, back air, neutral air, up B out of shield, which that's a really important one. So I feel like it's a little bit easier for Samus to kill and rack up damage and recover than it is for Falco to do all those things. And so I feel like, this matchup I honestly almost put at 6-4, but honestly I don't have enough experience for me to put it there. And like theory, like Falco can still do a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much why I put that. PacMan is a character that I believe Samus beats, mostly because she can pressure PacMan when in every area pretty much. So you can't, reliably get key because you have Zair, which is like a huge thing, and they have to be scared of dash attack. So you're able to disrupt his camping a little bit. If he throws out a hydrant, you can actually, 1, shoot projectiles at it to make it pop, or 2, if you're in the air and you think PacMan is going to hydrant, you can just up air and then you'll beat out the hydrant and then potentially hit PacMan. Like if you can actually react to certain hydrant placements and actually just up B them, hit the hydrant, and then hit PacMan, and since you're all the way up there, you'll actually kill them off the top, which is, in my opinion, really big. And Samus obviously kills PacMan really easily. PacMan does have some setups, and Samus is a little bit floaty in the air, obviously, so he can get some landing traps on her with key or bell or hydrant, which can be obnoxious, but also the fact that up B out of shield for both characters is a thing, kind of neutralizes a lot of the like close up range pressure, but I feel like Samus, has the burst options, obviously has a better grab, which is scary to say because Samus's grab is awful. But so Samus just gets more off of every hit, obviously, because PacMan is a, more of a zoning character than a combo character, whereas Samus is both. It is pretty hard to mess with PacMan's recovery unless they just do a really bad up B that you can just spike, or a really bad side B that you can spike. But either way, so neither character is going to be really messing with the other one off stage, because you can't really mess with Samus off stage as PacMan unless you're going to go down there and fight, which is probably not a good idea, because they can't like shoot hydrants, because you can just double jump up or just up B to the ledge anyway, and you're going to be fine. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the main reason that I put this as 55-45 is, one, I actually have a decent amount of experience in this matchup. I feel like the stages are better for Samus overall in the matchup, and obviously, as I mentioned in a few other matchups, the killing, in my opinion, is extremely one-sided because, again, you have to pretty much watch out for Bell, Key, and Hydrant, and so if you just shield a lot of the time, Samus is going to be fine. PacMan can't really kill you when he's in the air unless he hard reads your landing or something, just go Key, or like shoots Hydrant out, but for the most part, Samus can stall in the air enough that a lot of those traps aren't going to work, or you can just go back to the ledge. Whereas Samus, again, has back air, neutral air, up B out of shield that actually kills. Can edgeguard just a tiny little bit, potentially, and so I feel like that's going to be the main thing. And obviously the up B on the hydrant, that's really high. Like, Samus can pressure PacMan high, and that's actually really scary for him, because not a lot of characters are actually able to do that. So I feel like that is why 55-45 for Samus is the correct matchup ratio. Next, going to talk about Ike. So Ike is really slow and gets zoned out pretty efficiently by Samus. The Zair dash attack mix-up or, you know, just dash grab, things like that. Just it's a little bit difficult for Ike to get in, obviously. He can't really disrupt charging beam, so that's actually a problem because beam obviously is a huge factor in a lot of matchups just because they have to be scared of shielding, they have to be scared of landing. Like, landing traps with beam are so easy to get kills or just a bunch of damage on. It's really nice. Ike's landing options aren't the best, so Samus can actually juggle him really hard. Samus gets more off of a hit than Ike does because mostly the main damage that Ike is going to get is at 0 with like down throw footstool stuff, and I'm not even sure if it works on Samus because she's really floaty. It might, and assuming it does, you know, after 15%, Samus is going to be out damaging Ike pretty consistently. Ike actually has more kill potential than Samus, obviously, with the giant sword, but a big factor in this is the fact that his recovery is so exploitable. Bomb is actually amazing in this matchup, and obviously, if he has to sweet spot, like, he can't go high really with his Aether because you can just shoot beam at it, so he has to super sweet spot, in which case you can just kind of go above it and then kind of spike it, and even if you get a trade with the spinning hitbox, like if you go behind it and downer it, it actually works really easily. Or if they're going to sweet spot it, you can just keep doing bomb until you notice that they're going to go too high, in which case you beam them. So it's actually really unfortunate for Ike on the recovery aspect. He has to recover pretty much with quick draw, which is his side B, but even if that's the case, you can just shoot bombs again, or missiles, or beam, just to like make him have to release it early, in which case you can hit him back out and kill him. Ike, the main thing that Ike is going to get kills with is, in my opinion, dash attack and back air, because a lot of the defensive reads that Ike's like to go for, Samus isn't going to do. Like, Ike's love to get roll reads, but that's not going to happen because Samus's roll is awful. So a lot of the times, you know, Ike gets any pressure on your shield, you're going to either up B at a shield or sidestep, or just like drop shield, dash attack through him just to get center stage, or even a sidestep. So, I mean, I feel like it's really hard for Ike to really pin Samus down, and especially because if you ever get a little bit of space, that's when the zoning comes in, that's when you can charge beam, that's when you can do all these different things that Ike is not a fan of, and Ike doesn't get enough, in my opinion, per hit to warrant all the, you know, effort he gets getting in. Also, the fact that neutral air hits you out at such a bad angle makes it really difficult for Ike to recover if you ever have him without a double jump, and that's really bad for him. Obviously, it can lead to a lot of early stocks, which in this game, you know, is really problematic because it's only 2 stocks. So next, I want to talk about Roy. So Roy is faster, but less scary Ike, pretty much. So you can't zone him as efficiently, but you can actually edge guard him easier because his recovery is kind of awful, and you can just kind of go out there, and he can't really mess with you unless he's already in up B range. He doesn't get as much off of his combos unless, again, like 0%, so Samus is going to out-damage the hell out of Roy. He gets comboed really easily because he's a fast faller, so Samus will just be doing pretty much anything he wants. I feel like the stages that Roy wants are also the stages that Samus wants. You know, I think Roy's actually pretty good on Smash Bros, and I honestly hate that stage as Samus. It's probably my least favorite stage other than Lilat, but either way, you know, I feel like Samus, you know, Roy's not going to get any advantages off of stages because Samus is also really good on most of them. You know, just in general, the damage output's scary. I feel like Samus is easier to kill with than Roy. Obviously, Roy has more kill potential with certain things, but, you know, Samus's are a lot easier to hit because, again, back air, neutral air, beam, up B. You know, Roy's grab isn't that great, so you don't even have to be that scared of it. You know, it's one of those things, it's like old Fox, where, like, you could just shield versus him when you're at death percent, you're not really going to be scared until up throw starts killing. And Samus, again, really heavy, so it's not going to be really easy, and even things that don't blast zone Roy will still make it really difficult for him to live, because, again, neutral air sends at such a bad angle. You know, charge shot is always a looming threat when they're recovering. It's just really hard, in my opinion, for Roy to recover and just, like, maintain stage position against Samus, who has zoning tools, which, again, aren't super effective versus Roy, but just the fact that she has them means that Roy is probably going to be constantly approaching. And then the fact that you have, like, the burst, dash attack, beam, missiles, you know, it's really difficult for Roy to just kind of be in the position that is super advantageous for him, whereas Samus, I feel like, is like every other position is good for her. So I feel like that's a main reason that, like, Samus wins, is she, I feel like, wins, you know, at least 2 of the 3 main things. So she wins neutral, in my opinion, and she has a better advantage. You know, she can struggle to land versus Roy a little bit because he's fast, he has a good ground speed, but a lot of the things, like his juggling isn't going to be super great because he's not going to, like, knock you all the way back up, because for the most part he's going to be spacing with his tipper range just so he doesn't get messed with, like, with Samus down air. So he's going to be like he's going to be tipper up airing you, which is really weak, so until you're like at 80, 90, that's not really going to be doing anything, so Samus will just land anyway, which is kind of problematic in my opinion. Next is going to be Bowser Jr. So Bowser Jr., the reason I feel like Samus wins is because you can just up B at a shield anytime that he hits your shield with cart, which is a huge deal. You know, his projectile doesn't really do too much to you because, again, you're charging your projectile. You have things like Zair, you have burst options like dash attack, like the thing, like, I'll talk about it a little later. So I feel like it's really hard for Bowser Jr. to play the camp game. He needs a lot of time to set up his, you know, traps and his mix-ups and things like that, whereas Samus is like, okay, you're having time, I'm just gonna get beamed, this is fine by me. So I feel like That, along with the fact that Bowser Jr.'s ground game besides side B is like really lackluster. His tilts are only good if someone's on the ground or at kill percent. So I feel like most of his game is going to be jumping, and Samus loves when people jumps because she can 1 Zair them, 2 dash attack their landing, or 3 beam their landing. So I feel like Bowser Jr. is always just a struggle to like be in a range where he wants that Samus can't just body him, which is actually really problematic. And because shield is such a good option because you have that up B at a shield, Bowser Jr. is going to struggle to get like earlier kills because his main setup is like the side B into up B into, you know, hammer swing, and Samus can just shield for the most part and just up B any of those attempts. So it's really hard for him. He's going to have to be getting kills with more like ledge reads and back air. But the thing is, Samus's back air is stronger, and she obviously has a kill projectile and can edgeguard Bowser Jr. because Bowser Jr. is bad at recovering, because you can actually bomb his up B, and I don't think he gets his up B back because it doesn't put you into tumble, which is how he can get his up B back after he gets hit. So that's a huge deal in my opinion. Also, weak missile will do that as well. You can't really edgeguard him too hard like when he's out there, but you can just like plop beams or bombs around, charge beam, you know, advance your win conditions pretty much, and when he gets close enough you can drop another bomb and potentially kill him, which is really, really bad for Bowser Jr. Like, that actually sucks. So in my opinion, that, as well as Samus's overall speed, and you know, Bowser Jr. does get a lot of juggle opportunities on Samus because his up air is actually amazing. It's a really, really good up air, probably the best like bad character up air. You know, deals 10%, combos into itself at low percents, and he can just kind of do it. He can throw it out when Samus is landing. So for the most part, Samus is going to want to like jump away and kind of go to ledge, but I feel like Bowser Jr.'s ledge trapping isn't that great, especially against Samus, who has the fast option of a forwarder, so he can't really, you know, go for forward smash reads because I feel like most of them won't work. So he has to really respect your range, in which case then you can like you know, roll through neutral get up, things like that, and just make it a lot more difficult for Bowser Jr. to get these kills and this damage. And I feel like Bowser Jr. can't really escape Samus in the same way, because if he tries to side B in the air, Samus can just kind of like dash attack over there and kind of get to him, or just run. Like, she's not actually that slow, or you can like hit his landing with Zair, or you can, even if you have beam, just be like, okay, I'm gonna wait for you to land, there it is, and just hit him with a 28% projectile that can kill you. That's really problematic in my opinion. I don't actually have that much experience in this matchup. I've played it in a few friendlies, but you know, I could definitely see this matchup being even or even worse for Bowser Jr. I'm not really sure, but I just put it in 55-45 to be safe, because I feel like just Samus's tools overall are better than Bowser Jr.'s tools. And they kind of want to be in the same area sometimes, either far away or like jumping at each other, but I feel like Samus is better in both of those ranges, so I feel like that's why I put 55-45 for Samus. Next, I'm going to put a matchup I actually have a lot of experience with, Purple Guy, and this is going to be Samus versus Zelda. So the reason I put this as 55-45 is Samus gets a lot more damage on Zelda than vice versa. Although Zelda has better killing in terms of down throw up air, I feel like Samus's general damage output and the fact that she can zone Zelda really efficiently is really nice. Because obviously Zelda has the reflector in Nehru's Love or Nairu's Love, but Zair is going to be the big problem for Zelda, because Zelda's really slow. She can't really land particularly well, so if you're close enough that you can both beam and like dash attack her landing, it's going to be really problematic for her, because she has to just essentially guess on like a no land or a land with nothing or like a land with reflector, and Samus can get big damage off it, or even wait for the reflector to go away and charge shot anyway. You know, Samus can edgeguard Zelda a little bit. You can like go out there and force her to up B early, and then later in the match get 2 frames. Zelda obviously can edgeguard Samus as well, because she has the really, really lingering down air, and also down tilt on Samus's 2 frames, but it's kind of hard to edgeguard a tether, because, or like in terms of if you're going to stay on stage and try to 2-frame, because Samus can obviously just go up in the middle of the link, like in between the hitboxes of Zelda's down tilt, so like down tilt, second down tilt, but Samus can just Zair and then wait and then grab the ledge anyway and then punish her for the down tilt in the first place. So that's kind of problematic for Zelda. You know, Zelda is lighter than Samus, so Samus will kill earlier, assuming you don't get grabbed and get down throw up aired, but like her general kill potential is just so strong, and Zelda struggles in disadvantage so hard, and Samus is actually really good in the advantageous position. So things like, you know, air dodge reads to neutral air, if you just space around where she wants to down air you, pretty much like Zelda's falling and Samus can be here, and Zelda can't really do much, because if she fades away, Samus can just chase her because she has better aerial mobility, you know, and she can't really throw out a downer, because if she does, you can just double jump neutral air her. So she's pretty much going to have to be playing that guessing game and just wait to not air dodge, but if the Samus guesses that, obviously she can just like jump forward air, jump neutral air. So it's really problematic for Zelda to get down. That's where Samus is going to get a lot of damage, and Zelda is way worse at, you know, giving Samus damage and disadvantage. So I feel like that's a major turning point. It's like it can be going even, but then Samus gets like a good opening with a dash attack, gets an up air, lands on a platform. Zelda's going to struggle to land, and you're going to get 20, 30 more %. And then Zelda again has to be like, okay, well now I'm losing, so now I have to approach, and Samus is going to be zoning, which Zelda struggles to deal with a lot in my opinion. So I mean, yeah, that's going to be 55-45 for Samus. Another character I think is 55-45 is Dr. Mario, because Dr. Mario is slow Mario. So essentially, if Mario was slower, I would think this matchup is advantageous for Samus, but Doc is slower, so the zoning is more efficient. He can't really alter his landing timings with cape, because with Doc's cape, he just kind of falls anyway. His combos are less potent at low %, so pretty much like all the things that make the matchup not bad, like not awful for Mario, makes it even. You know, Doc doesn't have those things. He can kill you earlier sometimes with things like forward air, but I'm not even sure if down throw forward air works on Samus. Again, I don't know enough about Dr. Mario to be fair, but I feel like Samus's zoning is more efficient than him. He gets more, or Samus gets more damage off of a hit than Dr. Mario. Can't necessarily outkill, but again, landing with Doc is going to be really difficult, because the only way he can really mix up his landing is going to be down B. So if you're just waiting outside that range and you can react to it, or just up B it out of shield, like it's going to be really problematic for Dr. Mario. You know, and Samus can also edgeguard Doc way easier because, you know, his up B is way worse and his aerial mobility is way worse as well. So, you know, Doc has to like typically like go out there, double jump, down B, and then recover. But if Samus is just out there floating, she can wait for the down B to happen and then just punish. Like if they're higher than you, double jump forward air and catch them and hit them back out with no down B. Now they're gonna die. Or, you know, read it if they're lower and just go and neutral air them and then recover. So that's a big part. That matchup actually might be 6-4, but again, not a lot of experience in this matchup. I didn't want to put that it would be 6-4. You know, and then honestly, the last character I feel like that Samus has a slightly advantageous matchup with is Link, because Samus gets more, like the main reason, the only pretty much reason, because I feel like most things in this matchup are even, is the fact that Samus gets more off of a hit than Link does. So one neutral interaction that Samus wins will be better than vice versa. So Samus has dash attack, obviously, which can lead into like 35 or 40%, whereas Link is going to be mostly, you know, nickel and diming you for %, and then maybe like some bomb setups to get a little bit of %, but again, not really going to combo you, more like keep you in disadvantage and kill you. But again, Link is slow on the ground, so Samus can kind of just double jump away and go to the ledge, and Link's ledge pressure is scary, but it's not like super scary in terms of Samus, because again, the forward air is such a looming threat. Link has to space around that, in which case then she can just kind of like ledge hop and land, or ledge hop up air, ledge hop zair, things like that. So it makes it really difficult for Link to do his normal ledge trapping, which is actually pretty good in my opinion, with neutral air, up tilt, up smash, forward tilt, things like that. So it's actually pretty difficult for Link to do that in my opinion, and it's kind of difficult for Samus to edge trap as well, because he also has the ledge hop zair, he has ledge hop forward air. So like neither character is particularly strong in neutral in this matchup, because they both kind of go back and forth, because Link's projectiles are a little faster, but Samus's zair is better, and then she can obviously charge beam, which is a huge deal, because eventually it's just, you know, if you have beam, that's really good. You know, if you're charging beam and they throw a boomerang out or an arrow out, you can shoot the beam and it'll eat the projectile and then hit them. Link has his shield, so if he's walking forward, you know, it won't work if you shoot beam. So if he can pretty much take space safely without fear of beam if you're just charging, which a lot of characters have to worry about is like the immediate just like shoot it. So Link can walk forward, so like neither character's zoning is particularly good versus each other. You know, neither character, I feel like, can edgeguard. Maybe Samus can edgeguard a little bit more, which I feel like is 55-45, but again, the main reason I put this matchup in Samus's favor is because of the advantage state, which I feel like is a little stronger for Samus than vice versa, because both characters are going to kill each other really easily, because they're both heavy, but they're both really strong. You know, neither character can play neutral really, you know, safely, you know, unless they're both zoning, in which case nothing's going to be happening. So I feel like it's just like a really even matchup, but the fact that Samus gets that damage is really going to put it in Samus's favor just a little bit. And yeah, that is going to be about it for this one. I hope you all enjoyed. Social media, Panda, and partner stuff is down below. Remember, after this, I will be doing a Pikachu matchup chart, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.